Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Devansh, and we are going to solve this question zero sum, which is a part of this code forces round 1111 Dev 2, which is just the recent one that happened on 19th of July. All right, let's jump to the question. You're given an array of length n consisting of only -1 and 1. So you may perform the following operation. Okay, so problem number is 2247A. So you may perform the following operation on A any number of times. So you can perform operation any number of times. A consists of just -1 or 1 type of elements, and the first operation is choose I between my 1 and -1 inclusive, and then assign ai equals to minus of ai and ai plus 1 equals minus of ai plus 1. Determine whether it's possible to make the sum of the elements of a equal to 0. That's the whole question. That's the whole question, right? That's the whole question. We need to determine if the sum can be equal to 0, right? That's the question. Okay. Now, if we look at the array, let's say a1, a2, a3, and so on till the end, what we'll do is that we will what happens is that first we'll calculate sum. Okay, if that's equal to 0, no operation, it's already 0. If the sum equals to, let's say, a number y, where y is greater than 0, then that represents that many times 1 could not get cancelled by a minus of itself, right? So if I say that eventually what will happen is that if this 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 is there, uh, the sum is 1. So there is one in double inverted comma that could not get cancelled, right? And that is, let's say, this cancelled by this, but this remained, right? So can you choose that? That's the question. No, you can't. So if there is a case where this is the concept behind, what can you see is that if I make, let's say, this minus, let's say this was our original array, and so if you make this one negative, automatically this one will get positive, will be turned into a positive, and that won't make any difference. Also, I want to admit this that I could not solve today's Dev 2 round because of some reason I had some work. So this is the first time I'm solving this question. All right. So this is how I usually, so you'll get this idea of how I usually think or come up with an solution if you're new to code sources. If you're already greater, like you're higher rated than me, why are you on this video? First of all, hello, sir. Okay, so if this is the case, okay, now if sum is greater than zero, then we need to turn down number of ones that appear like this, that are pairwise positives or pairwise negatives. Then only it would make a difference. So if some percentage 2 equal to 0, then only operations will benefit, if at all they can benefit, if at all they can benefit, else minus 1. So, or no, you can say no. So now if this is the case, if this is the case, then what you can say, then the next step you want to see is key, how many of the pairs do you need to remove, right? You need to make them negative. So if sum is positive, what you need to check is whenever you spot this, make it negative. All right, whenever you spot this, make it negative. Tell sum minus 2 times of number of ops becomes 0. Okay, so number of pairs you count, or else you just count pairs, then check if 2 times those pairs that you just counted is equal to, is greater than or equal to sum. So that's the whole crux of it. Otherwise, else you just output it to be zero, it to be no, whatever may be the case. Okay. So I'll take int in, the input is this. No, see out. Yes. Okay, if that's the case, that's the case, that's the case. Oh, wait. Okay, now I got it. My initial logic was wrong. Okay, you know why? It's because if sum is greater than zero, they can never, they can never be, they can never be made zero. Why? Because if you find this pair, you make this minus one, it becomes one. No effect. If you get this pair, you eventually make this and this. Only when there is an opposite pair so that it could be made equal to this. So if sum mod 4 equals to 0, then it's true. Wait, this is also wrong. If sum mod 4 is equals to, then it could be an easy option. Then you find pairs that are sum by 4. If sum is an odd, I don't think so. You can do anything much there. So it's a no. Or sum is not equal to 0. If it, at all it becomes equals to this, then we can only do is that. The sum is a positive now, and it is divisible by mod of 4. it is divisible by 4, then okay, if you're checking this condition is eventually being checked, right? So we don't need that condition. Int pairs required is more. So now you have equals 0 plus plus. If AI plus 1 equal to 1, then CMD plus plus, and CMD plus plus, CMD equal to pairs. Just minus 1. We'll make it also minus 1. This is being outputted, but not this. Why? Minus 1, 1, minus 1, 1, minus. No output. Why? It's mainly because I feel uh, I don't know, this will be a problem then. What's the problem if it's not the problem? Okay, yeah. This will be absolute, right? This will be the case. Absolute will be the case. Okay, so this was an easy problem. It took me time for I don't know why this much time. Maybe I'm tired. It's late at night. But yeah, it was a simple question. Thank you for watching. Thank you.